So if you've seen less likes and engagement across all of your Instagram posts, you're not alone. You and thousands of people are getting something called an Instagram shadow ban. Now, Instagram shadow ban is a bit of a trigger word. A lot of people know what it means, and some people just hear the word and it kind of caught a little bit of snowball effect. And every time they get not as many likes on their posts, they claim that they got an Instagram shadow ban. So now is a really good time to talk about what is the Instagram shadow ban? Does it actually exist? And if so, how can I prevent it? Well, let's start off. An Instagram shadow ban is simply when Instagram's AI picks up your posts, your videos, whatever you post to Instagram, it triggers its Instagram spam filters. Essentially, Instagram thinks that your content is spam, so it limits your reach to both your friends and the Explore page. So imagine that you were posting promotional content to your Instagram page, something really spammy, really annoying, or nudity. Obviously, Instagram doesn't want to show that to a bunch of people. That would cause a poor Instagram user experience. So it limits your reach and engagement. That's all the Instagram shadow ban really is. It's an attempt for Instagram to have a user-friendly, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, a good user experience for Instagram. It's their attempt, and it was carried out poorly. Now,
they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Now, you have good reason to doubt the existence of Instagram shadow ban because Instagram straight out said that we don't do that. But then this year they came out and said, actually, we do throttle content that is against our terms of service, or if you use Instagram bots and things like that. But it actually gets a little bit more complicated. You can get shadow banned for things like using hashtags that you shouldn't use, or spammy hashtags and things like that. Or if Instagram even thinks you're posting nudity, it gets really, really complicated. So long story short, yes, Instagram's shadow ban does exist. In this video right here, I'm gonna be going over how it happens and how you can prevent it from happening. Let's get right into it, but before we start, my name's Bobby, aka the Influencer CEO, and we talk about everything Instagram, social media here. It is my personal mission to help entrepreneurs grow their business, grow their social media, through little hacks like this. So if anything sounds good to you, if any of that sounds good, make sure you like and subscribe and join the Gram fam. All right, so let's get into it. Instagram shadow ban is, of course, Instagram's spam filter being triggered, so you limits your reach and things like that. But how does it occur? Well, the way you get a shadow ban on Instagram occurs for 3 reasons. Now, the first one and the most obvious is you going against Instagram's terms of service. Now, I'm gonna leave a link to Instagram's terms of service below. I know who reads the terms of service, but there's actually some pretty interesting stuff below. So basically anything overtly sexual, overtly violent, nudity, things like that, harassment, bullying, things like that will get triggered by Instagram's spam filters. Now, it gets a little bit complicated because sometimes you'll pass Instagram spam filters and your content will not be throttled, and sometimes it will catch it. I know that we've all seen, those Instagram accounts that seem like they're 99%, they're basically porn accounts, and they get tons of likes and things like that. So Instagram obviously doesn't really have the system down while it gets complicated. Here's a really good example. I have a friend named James, and he wanted to prove how sexist Instagram can really be, or it was some sort of publicity stunt. So what he did was he took his shirt off, cropped his face, and took a picture of his nipple. And it got flagged by Instagram and essentially got shadow banned. It got deactivated. But then Instagram actually had to apologize to him because he was a man, and being a man on Instagram and having your shirt off and being naked is completely allowed, but it's not allowed for women, even though Instagram can't even tell the difference. So it just shows you that it's not some person behind the board who's actually triggering Instagram's spam filters and shadow banning. It is an AI algorithm, so as long as you play by the rules, your content will not get shadow banned. So obviously the first way you can get shadow banned is by posting nudity, posting content and things like that. Your content will not be shown to the explore page. Now the second and the most popular way to get shadow banned is by using banned hashtags, spammy hashtags. Now let's go back to the beginning when we talked about what the shadow ban really is. What it really is just triggering Instagram's spam filters. So just think about the user experience here. Instagram doesn't want you posting hashtags like free, coupon, things like that that nobody wants to interact with because it kind of pollutes the Instagram system. It makes it an unusable platform. It makes it ugly. So what it does is it throttles things like that. Now you're actually going to be able to see the list of banned hashtags, and they're more common than you think. There's hashtags like Easter is a banned hashtag, things like that. So I'm gonna be leaving a link down below to a list of banned hashtags, and you could also use a tool like this. Now before you post, run your hashtags through a tool like this, and it will actually detect any banned hashtags that you may be using in your post. And remember, if you do use a banned hashtag, you need to delete it immediately. If you think you're being shadow banned, go through and delete or check your post for banned hashtags and make sure you delete it, because once you've triggered Instagram's quote unquote spam filters, it will essentially think that at least your next post or the post after it is also spam because you violated Instagram's terms of service, apparently. Just think about it that way. Instagram just wants a good user experience, and it wants to promote healthy, organic, good, quote unquote, good content to the rest of its users and your followers. So banned hashtags is another big one. Now, the third one is by posting irrelevant hashtags. Let's go back to user experience. Instagram's explore page, its hashtag explore page, is all AI, artificial intelligence, or algorithm, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But basically go to hashtag beach, right? You go to hashtag beach and you see a bunch of pictures of what? The beach. Now that's by design. There isn't some person in Instagram who hand curates every single explore page. It is an algorithm that looks at the background, it goes through, it detects your photo, it sees hashtag beach, it determines that this in fact is a beach, it detects the ocean, and then promotes it to the explore page. So if you have a picture like this, and you post it to Instagram and use hashtag beach, once again, you are promoting an unhealthy user experience because you're not at the beach. You're confusing Instagram's system. Essentially, you're trying to finesse Instagram's algorithm into posting your page to hashtag beach when in fact you have nothing to do with the beach, even though you may be talking about the beach, maybe an Instagram picture of you reminiscing about the beach, I don't know, something like that. But essentially Instagram will punish you. So that's the second big one. So once again, the first big one that I see a lot of people do is they use banned hashtags. And the third one is they use irrelevant hashtags and they trigger Instagram's spam filter. I mean, this happens a lot when people use hashtag dogs or hashtag Instagood and things like that, and it's just a bad user experience. And you can kind of check yourself, go through to some of these popular hashtags and click on it and look at the posts that are being posted to the page. I mean, a lot of promotional content on some of these big hashtags. It just shows the spam that Instagram is trying to prevent in the first place by quote unquote shadow banning you. So those are the three ways that you can get shadow banned. Now, how do you actually detect that you have been shadow banned? Incredibly simple. Here's what you don't do. There's these websites called Instagram Shadow Ban Checker. They're all bullshit. I have no idea what they're even pretending to do. I wouldn't enter any information, especially if people ask you for your password. It's all complete bullshit. I've tested these multiple times. They're just completely wrong. If you want to check if you're shadow banned on Instagram, incredibly simple. Post your photo as normal, and then what you're going to do is you're going to click on the hashtag from somebody else's phone and simply see if you were visible. If you're visible, you're good to go. If you are not, then you are shadow banned. I recommend deleting your post, checking the hashtags, running it through that website that I mentioned that we showed before, and I'll also leave a link to below that double checks that you didn't use any banned hashtags, and then continuing from there. Now, how long does the shadow ban last? I've heard or seen it last 1 to 2 weeks. I, however, think that's people being paranoid. Personally, I think it'll last 1 post. It can last 2 to 3, but just make sure that you're doing the crucial steps of checking for your banned hashtags. Now, what I really wanted to make this video for, because there's plenty of videos on Instagram shadow bans, a lot of people recently have been saying they're shadow banned without them in fact being shadow banned. And I kind of wanted to give a quick little insight into Instagram just to let you know of what could possibly be happening to your content. So something really, really common that I ask people to do when they think they're being shadow banned is to change their Instagram username and post a picture. So for example, my Instagram username is @theinfluencerCEO, and let's pretend I get around 500 to 1,000 likes per post. And I switch my username to something like King Bobby or something like that. And then I post on Instagram. What's going to happen is I'm going to get around half of that engagement, 100 to 200, likes, something like that. And that's because people aren't used to that username. They're going to think that I'm somebody else. They're not going to recognize me. They're not going to recognize my style. They're not going to recognize the context of the years of branding behind the username, the influencer CEO that I actually created. So my engagement's going to be complete shit. Now, you know that, I know that, you know that. It's very obvious why you would get less engagement. Now, I want you to apply that same philosophy to your content. Let's say that you're posting pictures every day of just your dog and it gets 100 likes, and then one day you post a picture of dog food or you, and it gets less engagement. Now, people's first instinct is, I'm completely shadow banned. I've been getting X amount of likes, now it's half. Well, in reality, it's just that your content is shifted and it isn't relevant to your audience. Very, very simple. That's kind of my number one thing. I see a lot of people on Facebook groups saying that they're shadow banned, when in reality, sometimes your content just isn't relevant to your audience, or you're not posting the type of content that is familiar to your audience, or you haven't established a good rapport with your audience and haven't created consistent enough content. So that's something very simple there. Another thing is people are using the wrong hashtags. For some reason, people are still using hashtags like Instagood, or they'll post a picture on Monday and use hashtag Monday, when in reality, the only reason people use hashtags like that are to get more likes. But the only reason other people use those hashtags are to get more likes. So nobody's actually using those hashtags to interact with the community. A good example of a hashtag is women empowering women. If you click on that hashtag and go to recent posts, it's all real people actually engaging with the hashtag. So use engaging hashtags that people are actually using, not just using for vanity numbers to increase their likes, versus something like if you go check out hashtag Easter, hashtag Wednesday, hashtag Christmas, hashtag Instagood. It's just all spam and bullshit, and people just use hashtags like that for vanity numbers. You could also change your profile to a creator profile or a business profile and actually see the amount of reach you're getting and kind of filter and adjust from there. So to recap on this video, yes, the Instagram shadow ban is real. Instagram has itself admitted that the shadow ban is real. It makes sense that the shadow ban is real because in reality, the shadow ban is just a fancy word, but in reality, Instagram's shadow ban is simply Instagram's attempt at creating a better user experience by limiting the reach of what it thinks, even though it's wrong most of the time, is lewd content, spam content, things like that. And we can avoid it by not using banned hashtags, not using irrelevant hashtags, and keeping the dick pics and the tit pics on private and not posting that to our account. So there you go. I hope you liked that video here. Last thing, I'm giving away my secret to how I'm growing 201 plus followers every single day on Instagram. If you click down below, you can get that. Make sure to join my Facebook group, the IG fam, the Gram fam, not the IG fam, the Gram fam, and make sure to follow me on Instagram. Like and comment below if you have yourself faced an Instagram shadow ban, or comment if you think that the Instagram shadow ban is complete bullshit. I'll see you guys in the next one.